All right, we are live. Let's get the speech chat going. And then for background, let's fire up Project Motor Racing. How is everyone doing this evening?
Ain't no stopping this train! Whoa!
All right, while Project Motor Racing is booting up, what is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay, coming back with some more Project Motor Racing on my workhorse PC, my 3070 Ti. Let's see here. It's booting up now. 1 second. There we go. Love that intro. All right. So, the stream today, we're going to get into some rank races. We got some new rank races yesterday, and I'll take a quick second to show you those rank races. I've already done the GT3s, and surprisingly, I think I've already gone as far as I can go. Um, I'm sitting in a pretty good spot with the GT3s. So we come over here to the GT3 Pro Cup at Derby, and I'm currently in 14th place with 261 points. The leader has 345. He also has 38 starts where I have 21. So he probably just kept racing and racing and racing until he won. Um, so round 3, you see I got some pretty good points. This is the most points I ever got in a round. So the 47 points, I think I got that. I think I finished 4th that race, and then the 49 points, I won a race, and that race kind of got handed to me. There was carnage all over the place as you would expect. Lap 1, and then the leader at the time, he had a 15-second penalty for jumping the start, and he eventually quit. And then and I inherited the lead, and I hung on to it, and so yeah, I got 49 points. So that being said, there's really not, and it even shows right here the one win. There's no point in me really doing the GT3 races today unless I think I can win another race. So today I want to focus on the GT 500 evos, but damn, that race isn't for another 45 minutes. So we might have to go into a community lobby, but that I'm currently, where am I at? I'm currently 43rd with 157 points. I don't know what the leader has because it won't let me scroll up that high. But if I can get the same amount of points, well, I got pretty good points round 2, 48 and 40. See, that 26 is what hurts in round 1. So if I can get the same amount of points as I did in the GT3 race, I would be in pretty good shape. Okay, so today what I wanted to do before we jump into some races is break down how much it would cost to build this PC that I'm sitting at right here with a 3070 Ti. Million times, um, million times about me having multiple PCs, and my focus is always on my lowest spec PC because I'm always talking about where your basement should be, and I've talked about it a bunch of times, but I haven't really broke down how much it would cost to build a PC with the exact same specs as the one that I have here. And the one thing that like started me down that road is a couple of years ago, um, when prices started going up. You know, Microsoft, Sony, Nvidia, AMD, whatever. When hardware started going up and people were complaining about it, there was this narrative that gaming is an expensive hobby, and I never bought into that. And some people even went as far as to say that, that gaming might be a little too rich for some people, or some people can't afford it, whatever the case may be. And I just never bought into that. I thought that was a snobbish elite attitude. And I think gaming is only as expensive as you make it. And a lot of people, I think when it comes to PC gaming, the one thing that always two things seems to scare people away from PC gaming. One is the barrier to entry. How much is it going to cost to build a PC? And and the constant driver updates and troubleshooting and bugs and stuff like that that happens that comes along with gaming. But I think at the end of the day, I think the freedom, PC gaming, um, much more games at your disposal, much cheaper games at your disposal. I think what you pay up front for a PC, I think you get it on the back end through the amount of money you save from not having to pay online and having to get and being able to get games pretty cheap. So me wanting to break down how much it would cost to build this PC was not sparked by the current war going on right now between PC and PlayStation fanboys. I mean, there's been some wild shit going back and forth on Twitter, you know, with CD Cyberpunk 77 being at the center of it and going back and forth, and you know, $900 console versus a PC that costs $4,000, and and I think people are the mindset that um, you would need to pay at least $1,500, $2,000 for a PC that can do X, Y, and Z. And I don't. If you did it with new parts, yeah, maybe so. But if you're willing to buy secondhand parts, you can build a pretty good PC for a price that's comparable to some consoles. So um, so let's talk about the specs of this PC before we get into the start searching for parts on eBay, because I've got all these windows pulled up on eBay, and we're going to search and look for the best deals, and then we're going to, you know, mark it all down, add it all up, and see how much it would cost to build a PC with the exact same specs as the one that I got here, give or take a few minor adjustments. So this PC has a 3070 Ti GPU. The CPU, I still have the i7 11700K in it. I still have my i9 11900K. I might put it back in, but I won't really gain much, you know, 2 or 3 extra frames. That's about it. The multi-thread, you know, is supposed to give me more more resources for multitasking and video editing. The PC also has 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. It has a 700-watt power supply. So I think that's the most important part right there. Storage. Um, when I build PCs, I always have at least 2 drives in there. One is the C drive to put all the programs on there, and then a D drive to put all my games on there. In the case of this PC, I have a C drive, a D drive. Both are SSDs. I think they're both 500 gig SSDs or M.2 drives, and then I have a external drive, Seagate. It's 5 terabyte. My other PC with the 4090, I've got 5 SSDs on that one. 3 drives that are 1 terabyte and 2 of them that are 500. So as I search for these parts, go write down the cost of each part, going to add it all up, and then tell you how much it's going to cost to build this computer. So let me switch over. Let me switch scenes. Right here. Whoops. All right. Switch scenes. Okay, so here we are. 3070 Ti. Let's start with that. And me, I prefer the Founders Edition. Um, all three of my computers have Founder Edition cards. And I think the only card I ever owned that wasn't a Founders Edition card was when I had a Alienware PC. It had a 2070 in it, and it had some off-brand looking card in it. I still have it, but other than that, every card I've ever bought has been a Founders Edition. I just believe in buying it from the people who created the technology. So, but let's see here. And we're not going to look at current auctions. We're going to look at best offer or buy now prices. So right now here's 290. Here's one that says Nvidia 3070 Ti graphics card, fan heatsink, $250. When they put that fan heatsink in there, that might be, I don't know if they're trying to say there's an issue with it, so I'm not gonna look into that one. Um, Let me see. Here's a EVGA 3070 Ti, 280 or best offer. Asus Tough 275 best offer. Another one, $255. Buy it now. That might end up being the cheapest one. Here's another one. Buy it now for $259. So we'll say, yeah, 255. The seller's got 100% positive. He's sold 138 items on here before, but he only has one picture. But anyway, used in working condition. $255. So let me grab a pen, write that down. How much is shipping? $10. So with all these parts, if you buy every single part from eBay, when all is said and done, you probably might end up paying about 60, 70, maybe even $80 more for shipping. But so we'll start there. $255 for the GPU. Let's move on to the CPU. This is an 11700K. Um, Now, what's important is to look at the hertz, the gigahertz. So some of these, I believe, are 2.5. This is a 3.6 gigahertz. Pre-owned. No, that's an auction. So that auction is still underway. We won't count that. $199 for the buy it now price. This is still a current auction. That's for parts, so we'll skip that one. These are parts. Buy it now. Let me see here. Not working. So it looks like a working one. You're gonna pay at least $200. I paid $265 for my i9 11900K parts. See here, that's in China. No, I don't even want to deal with that. China, 284. So it looks like the cheapest one that we've seen was the $200 buy it now. So located free delivery. Oh shit. We'll go with that one though, right there. No, not that one. This one. Free delivery. $199. We'll call it 200. All right, next, let's move on to the RAM. Now, this part actually wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be. 32 gigs of DDR4 is what I have in that PC. And DDR5 is still expensive, but DDR4, yeah, you can find it reasonably cheap at a reasonable price. Let's see here. 137. That's a 32 gig stick. A single stick. I don't want that. Corsair. Oh, these are still underway. G.Skill 32 gigs, DDR4. Oh yeah, the speed. Some of them are like 3,000. Some of them be at 3,600, 3,200, that kind of shit. So that's going to play a part in the price too. But we got one here for $125. So let me see before I jump up and get that one. $129. My 4090 has 3,200. I like that one right there. So this Vengeance right here for 130, 3,200 hertz. No RBG because some people want a few dollars extra for the lights. So we might be looking at that one for $130. I think that's a good pickup. 149. So yeah, let's go back up to that one that costs right here, $130. All right, the motherboard. Now the motherboard, the chipset is an LG A1700. And let's see here. We'll go ahead and stick with that. Let me see here. Gigabyte motherboard, LGA, $77, the best offer. Oh shit. This is a Wi-Fi one. MSI B760 Wi-Fi, supports 12 and 13th gen processors. This is a DDR5 motherboard, so you would end up paying more to get the DDR5 RAM for this. So we'll skip over that one. Here's one. Let me see. Nope. Buy it now. This is certified refurbished, and this is eBay certified, so $70. DDR4, $80. So let's go back to that one. We'll go back to that eBay, the refurbished eBay one. There we go, $69.99. MSI Pro, LGA. Yeah, that's a Wi-Fi board too. So $70 for the motherboard. Now, the PSU, the power supply unit, that's another thing. You can get 1,000-watt PSUs super, super cheap. But so for this one, I didn't put in a particular wattage. I just put in PSU. I think at the least we want a 700-watt power supply. That's $1,350 for $98. That's pretty damn good. My 4090 has a 1,000-watt PSU. At the time, I paid $190 for it. I think it was a Corsair, and that was like 3-4 years ago. Look at this, a 600-watt for $35, a best offer. Now, if it came down to it, I think you could, this PC that I have here, you could run it with a 600 watt. But let's see here. Oh shit, 750 watt for $40 a best offer. Damn, here's another one for $53. $61. 450. Nah, we want more power than that. 750. This is 39. $40 a best offer. So yep, we're gonna call it $40. Next is the SSD. This is for 1 terabyte. Now me, I think that and this came to me from my friend Ham when he walked me through how to build a computer. He was the one that recommended that you should have a C drive and put all your programs on there, and then have a D drive for your games, and not put them all on the same drive. If you absolutely had to, you could. So I think what you could do is kind of do what I did here. Um, let me say that again about my storage on this PC. I've got a 500 gig C drive and a 1 terabyte D drive. They're both M.2 drives. But let's go through these prices. So yeah, these have gone up a little bit in price. 1 terabyte. These are internal drives too. So $100 a best offer. 95, 90s. See here. Data Pro. Right. So right now we're at $85 for a solid state drive. This is a SATA drive too, so it's not going to be as fast as an M.2 drive, but it's still a SSD and it's still fast. So right now, like, that's a 1 terabyte. Because I know when I bought the 500 gig SATA drives, they're Western Digitals. I think at the time that I bought those, I think I paid like 50 or 60 bucks each for them. So I guess $100 for a 1 terabyte drive is give or take. Here's one for $90. Here we go. Western Digital SATA 1 terabyte, $85. So this is basically advertising their store. You could probably find stuff cheaper if you keep digging. You can probably, let me see here, a 500. Yep, see a 500 gig. I mean, you could buy that for your C drive, but then you still, in my opinion, you would still have to turn around and buy something for the D drive. And I think for the D drive, you're gonna need at least a terabyte. But I guess if you wanted to get a 1 terabyte C drive and put everything on that drive, you could, and, um, or you could buy two of these, use one for C drive and use the other for D drive. $100. 89. So I think we'll go with that one that was $85. Yeah, right here, this Western Digital for 85. This is a 1 terabyte SSD SATA drive. $85. The case. Now the PC case, they're going to be pretty cheap too. I would recommend getting a case that already has the fans in them. Otherwise, you'll spend a little. I mean, getting a case without the fans will be super, super cheap, but you're still going to end up having to buy the fans and putting them in yourself. But so getting a case that's already got the fans in them. So here's one for $65. That looked like some office shit right there. There's a micro tower for $40. If you want to go with a micro tower, I think this case that I've got here is like a small tower, but they're still bigger than the micro towers. Yeah, right. This mid tower, here we go. I think that's a good one right there, because that will allow you, it'll give you enough space as, you know, if you want to upgrade, because if you get into 50, like a 4090 territory, the 4000 cards, those cards is fat. So you're going to need a little bit of room for that. But I like that case right there. 3 RGB fans in the front. I don't really care about the RGB part, but 3 fans in the front, 3 intake fans, 1 exhaust in the back. We'll go $53. We'll go with that one. And then I think the last part, because I didn't include the mouse and keyboard and stuff, because you can, I mean, you can go to a Target or a Walmart or something like that and get a mouse for like $10 and get a keyboard for 10 or 15 bucks as well. But the last one, we're going to Best Buy to get the CPU cooler. This is the last part that I feel that you need. Yeah, keep that there. And right
At
here,
Necrodogs said, woof woof. At Necrodogs said, hope everyone's doing well.
Necrodogs, how you doing? And this is the last part right here. This is the CPU cooler fan. Only $30.
At Necrodogs said, what's up, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you? So $30. And all right, let's add all this up. Let me pull out the old calculator. All right, 255 for the GPU, plus 200 for the CPU, plus 130 for the RAM, plus the motherboard was $70. PSU was $40, plus 85 for the SSD, plus 53 for the case, plus 30 for the CPU cooler. And we come up with a grand total of $863 before taxes. So yeah, there you have it right there. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. But yeah, total. So this PC that I'm sitting at right here with the 3070 Ti, if you built it to the exact same specs that I did, give or take, it would cost you about $863. Depending on what shortcuts you take, you could probably save a few bucks.
Said, all good. Still struggling with FPS dips and freezes in PMR, but it's better after tuning my system.
The frame dips in PMR. All right. I think I can come back now. So close that. Okay. So the frame dips with PMR, I've noticed when you're on the straights is when you get the most frames. When you hit the corners, the frames drop significantly. My current settings on this game right now, and I always use Sebring as my test bed for when I want to stress test this computer or whatever. So on the straights, with my current settings, I'm running it at 1080p at quality settings, but I turned the volumetric fogs and the clouds down to medium to free up a few frames. And then single player, I've got the AI opponents set to 15. So when I'm on Sebring on the straights, I've hit as high as 115 frames. But when I go around corners, I've seen it drop as low as 80 frames, and in some cases like 77. So yeah, I think I don't know if that's a PMR thing. I know with other
Necrodogs said exactly. Corners and close to the pit lane.
Yeah. I know, like it. I think that's just the way it is. I think that's just the nature of the beast because games like ACC, most of the stress would come from race start. That's when the heaviest load would be put on your computer is at race start. Once the race gets underway and things start to flow and the cars start to spread out, then your frame rate will come up. So I guess, different games have different way of doing things. Different games. So yeah, I think the frame drop situation, I don't think that's so much a PMR thing. I think that's just a sim racing thing. But no less, I think in Project Motor Racing's current state, especially like this, my big concern is the VR. In its current state right now, on this PC that I'm sitting at right now, it could run VR, but I would probably have to make so many compromises in order to get the type of performance that I would like. I'd probably have to turn the graphical settings all the way down to low. I would probably have to turn the headset's resolution down a little bit, because I think, with my Quest 3 on this PC, I run the resolution at like 2011p, whereas on my 4090, I run the resolution on that. I run that at about 3200, and I've even gone as high as like 4000, but at that point it's diminishing returns because it's just taxing my PC even more, but I'm not really seeing the difference visually. But yeah, in this current state, I would have to make a lot of compromises. The in-game settings.
Necrodogs said mine goes down to 20 to 30 FPS and freezes for 1 to 2 seconds. AMD RX 7800 GPU, i9 9900K CPU, 64 GB 3600 MHz RAM.
You on an i9 9900K? I think that's still a decent CPU today, but I think it's still a decent CPU. But some of the benchmark videos that I've seen, I think a 12900K would be a quite sizable jump. I've seen a benchmark video where they tested the 9900K, the 10900, the 11900, and the 12900. That was as far as I would go. But if you like a 13900, that's still to go from a 9900 to a 13900, that would be quite the jump. But as far as your game freezing on you, yeah, I can experience frame drops about 20 frames, but the game doesn't freeze. It still runs pretty good. And then the other thing is that since I'm streaming and gaming on the same PC, it taxes the GPU a little bit more. But it still runs smooth the whole time. So, where are we at? GT 500. We've got 12 minutes for that race. Damn, 12 minutes, 12 minutes. What time is it? 8:42.
At TrevKen said, I have mine limited to 70 FPS to keep some headroom. I hardly ever see it below that. 3070, i5-12600K, 32 GB. At TrevKen said, 1440p. At Necrodogs said, in ACC, I get 120 plus FPS in 60 car races. Old Assetto Corsa is around 180 in similar conditions. 3450x 1440 resolution.
So the 7800 GPU, let me see what that, let me see what the Nvidia equivalent is. The 7800. Here, let me see what you said you had. Yeah, RX 7800. Nvidia equivalent. The Nvidia equivalent would be the 4070.
At Necrodogs said, 4070 is the equivalent.
Yep, just looked it up. Okay. Yeah, that's decent. I think it's good enough that you shouldn't be experiencing freezes unless you've got the in-game settings turned all the way up to ultra and pushing the PC to its absolute limit. Let's see here. Trev, he's got a 3070 i5 12600K. In your case, Necrodogs, when I first built my 4090 PC, I was going to put, well, I previously had 64 gigs of DDR4. So when I built the 4090 PC and I upgraded to DDR5, I was going to put 64 gigs of DDR5 in it. But my friend Ham told me, he said it would be a case of diminishing returns because, you know, you're not going to use all of it. And you'd just be paying extra money for it, which he was right, because a lot of these benchmarks that I've done, and I look at the RAM usage, especially with this software called Process Lasso, the 32 gigs of RAM that I have, a lot of times it doesn't even use half of it. So I guess that's my way of saying that the 64 gigs of RAM you have, I wouldn't be surprised if your PC doesn't even scratch it. So you might just have an extra.
At Oil Slick 13 said, evening all.
How's it going, Oil Slick? So
at Necrodogs said, I use 64 gigs for virtual machines and AI.
Oh, okay.
32 would be okay for gaming.
Oh, yeah. 32 would be more than enough for gaming. All right, we got somebody here. Let's go ahead and register for this race. And I'm going to use the trusty NSX. I'm sure, you know, people will wait till the last second to show up, so yeah, like all my games, like this PC and my 4090 PC, I got them both set to run natively at 1080p. And the reason why I do that is because of the VR. Because you know, VR already adds an extra load onto the PC. So if I'm running the PC natively at 4K and then I'm running it in VR on top of that, it's putting quite a heavy load on the PC. So I turn it down. I keep the PC at a native 1080p, and then the headset, I'll upscale the headset's resolution to whatever I want. And at 1080p, that takes enough of a load off of the PC, but still keep the resolution high enough that whenever I'm streaming, 1080p is good enough for you guys. Because, you know, if I stream it at 4K, you know, it's like I'd have to streaming it at 4K, it would tax the PC. And then not only that, whenever I decide I want to jump into VR, I have to turn the resolution down, the native resolution back down to 1080p, and then I have to keep reformatting OBS. I have to keep, you know, resizing the picture and shit like that. And I just leave it at 1080p, and that's pretty much that. Although I have, just to see what would happen, I did max this game out on this PC. I did crank it all the way up to 4K and had everything set on ultra, and I was getting about, on Sebring, I was getting about 50, I think like 58 frames a second, and then when I went around corners, it would drop into like 47. So
At Oil Slick 13 said, straight up speaking Spanish, I just turns on PlayStation and play.
So the console thing. If PlayStation and Xbox, and even Nintendo for that matter, didn't require you to pay online, I would recommend a console. In most cases, especially if you're on a budget, I would recommend a console over a PC. So now, okay, so this PC.
At Trevken said, hey Oil.
Okay, so I just broke it down on eBay. My PC that I'm sitting at right here, give or take, $863. And I think in raw rasterization, it will outperform the PS5 Pro in certain situations. I don't even turn on ray tracing and stuff like that because it's like, I really don't care for that stuff, and it definitely taxes the hardware. So $863 to build this computer. The PS5 Pro now costs $900, and then you're paying at least $80 a year for PlayStation Plus in order to play online. So a console generation lasts about 7 years. And the way things are going with Sony right now, that price of PlayStation Plus is going to go up again. I don't know if it's probably going to go up again this generation, because like the one thing that like the fanboys avoid talking about is that Sony took a massive hit because of that Bungie situation. They spent $3.6 billion to acquire Bungie. And then it was just revealed that it cost at least $200 million for them to develop Marathon, and even more, higher than 250 million when you factor in marketing. So we're looking at close to $4 billion off of Bungie and the Marathon acquisition alone. And then the Concord failure, about 400 million for that, about 200 million to develop the game, and about 200 million Sony spent to acquire.
Said, it pains me to pay PS Plus for online gaming.
Exactly.
I only use it for GT7, so it's like paying for iRacing.
Same here. So my point being is that between the Concord failure and the Bungie situation, Sony is about out of pocket about $4.5 billion, and they are trying to get that money back, come hell or high water. I mean, they are leaving no stone unturned because they have raised the price of PlayStation Plus, the consoles, controllers. They've, basically snatched the reward programs where people will get free games off of that. And I guess at a recent like shareholders call or whatever, Sony had revealed that they plan to generate more money by monetizing its users, which translation probably means they were going to raise the price of something. They just raised the price of the consoles again, and being that it's rumored that the PS6 might not come until 2028, I think Sony's going to raise the price of PS Plus again during that time. And if they raise it again, I think the minimum price is going to be $100. So short story long, with a generation being 7 years on average, so $900 for the PlayStation Pro and an extra $80 a year for PlayStation Plus for however many years you plan to keep it. So 5 years. 5 years of PlayStation Plus. 5 times 8 is 40. So that's $400. $900 for the PlayStation Pro. 5 years of PlayStation Plus. $400. That's assuming they don't raise the price again. We're looking at $1,300. This PC right here that I'm sitting at will give you PS5 Pro type performance for a few dollars less if you're willing to buy secondhand parts. And then you don't have to pay to play online. You can get dirt cheap games from everywhere. Steam always has stuff on sale. They have a trillion free games. You can get games dirt cheap from the key sites. That's how I've been able to give away so many copies of Project Motor Racing, because I've been getting them from loaded.com and paying anywhere from $14 to $25 per key. So on the back end, from being able to get games cheap and not being able to play online, you save a lot more money. So I say all of this, I say all of that to say that if the PS5 was still $500 and Sony did not charge you to play online, and somebody were to come to me and say, I'm on a budget, what would you recommend? I would have told them to get the PS5. But because they charge you every year $80 for PlayStation Plus, and you're locked into their ecosystem, so you're only going to get games on sale whenever Sony feels like putting them on sale. Whereas on PC, you can find a bargain anywhere. You're not locked into an ecosystem. So, and then there's way more games, between GOG and Epic and Steam, the Microsoft Store. There's a ton of storefronts you can go to get games. So, over the long haul, because of the freedom, and over the long haul, I think a PC is a better bargain. Or more value for the dollar. Let's go.
At Necronox said, plus, a PC doubles as a work tool.
That's true. Lost some time. Come on, man, move it. Oh, he tried to take me out. What an idiot. Lost time. Well, this lap is dead because that car's in front of me and he probably ain't going to get out of my way. Well, that moved me up a little bit. And Chris Dye, I've seen him before. All right, I gotta turn the in-game settings down a little bit. It's kind of loud. And massive volume's at 70. So he did a 130 flat, and I did a 131.2. I do believe I can get into the 130s. I know I would if I had VR. All right, let me go back to the settings again. Audio. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Ain't no stopping this train. Whoa!
Aiming for a top 5 finish.
Keep focused. Let's get a good start. Take some of those cars off the line.
At Trevcan said, "Good luck, bro."
Jesus. Thank you. Sure enough, cars were charging in. They were dive bombing.
At Shaolin 4206 said, "What up?"
Shaolin Monk, how's it going?
At Shaolin 4206 said, "Aim a run that GT race at Spa, I'm in third."
All right, one down. Let's see if we can get the next one. Damn, I got the fastest first sector. How about that?
At Hole in Dan Suck said, "Yes sir, good to see everyone."
Dan Sock, how's it going? Damn, I just did a 131.1. They keep fighting up there, I can catch them. Dude tried to run me off the road, you fucking asswipe. I'm gonna go ahead and just stay on your ass and pressure you. Woo!
At Trev10 said, "Get him Lincoln, Simple Jack has been a pain to me a few times too."
Oh, so the guy's known for playing like that, huh? All right, a podium. Simple Jack, I got you, you saber-tooth motherfucker.
Ain't no stopping this train! Whoa!
Bury the cockroach.
At Trevcan said, well done.
Thank you, Trev. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was obvious. Let me save that replay because he tried to push me out the way. I seen it, so I just decided to go ahead and let him through, and then try to stay on his ass and see if he'll make a mistake. You motherfucker.
At Chalinmonk 4206 said, nice race.
Thank you. That should give me some good points because I got a podium. I think it should give me at least 40 points.
At Kwaski9 said, good stuff, Link.
Hey, thanks, Kwaski. Appreciate it. Hey, here you go.
Ain't no stopping this train! Whoa!
Yeah, they making us do the whole cooldown lap.
At Misspin5 said, face with tears of joy.
Hey, Miss Spin, how you doing?
Ain't no stopping this train! Whoa!
That's a podium.
Yeah, let's save that replay.
Good work. Nice job.
Hope the game don't crash on me, because sometimes when you save a replay and then try to go back, it'll crash on you.
At Chalinmonk 4206 said, if you run out of gas during this, it will DQ you.
No shit, I didn't know that.
At Chalinmonk 4206 said, happened to me and pissed me off bad. I was in second.
These races, like the default, the fuel they start you off with default is usually enough to get through a race. So I don't go playing around, you know, trying to fuck around with my fuel to the last drop. You know, if the race is 10 laps, I put in enough fuel for 12. Oh, look at that. We got 47 points. We got some good points. And I'm currently 13th. So I gotta do one more race.
Said, I registered 992.
Oh, you registered for the 992 race?
Luke YT said, I thought you had a 4090.
I do, Adrenaluke. I have 3 computers. One has a 4090, the other one has a 3080 Ti, and this one has a 3070 Ti. This PC that I'm sitting at right now is my workhorse. This is the one that I work on. I do everything on this PC.
4206 said, I finished the race with gas and it ran out during the waiting period and it DQ me.
Oh, crap. Yeah, Adrenaluke, as I was saying, I got 3 PCs, and my 4090, that's the one where my rig is at and all that shit. I don't know why. I haven't been on it that much. This PC that I'm sitting at right here is my workhorse. Because I'm in my bedroom right now, and I like having the PC in my bedroom, and I roll out of bed from a nap and, you know, jump right into a race, jump right into a first-person shooter game. I've got my VR headsets in here. I also got my PlayStation 5 in here, as well as my Xbox.
Adrenaluke YT said, what processor does the 3070 PC have?
I gotta.
And how many GB of RAM?
I gotta be technical. It's got a 3070 Ti. The CPU is a i7 11700K. but I just bought an i9 11900K off of eBay a few days ago. It has 32 gigs of DDR4. My other two PCs have 32 gigs of DDR5, and at some point I will upgrade this PC to DDR5. So yeah, I plan on upgrading this PC. At some point, I will get this PC to a 3080 Ti. Basically, the same specs as the secondary PC out there with the 3080 Ti. That secondary PC has a 3080 Ti. It has an i9 12900K, 32 gigs of DDR5, 1200 watt power supply. So that one, with secondhand parts, you could probably expect to build that PC. You're probably looking at about $1,500 to build that PC. With today's RAM prices and shit, and then the 3080 Ti, like it seemed like this time last year, I've seen those things for as low as $350, but the prices went back up on them. So now the 3080 Ti's run anywhere between $500 and $600. But yeah, that 3080 Ti PC, that's more or less my, I more or less I gave it to my son, and it's here for when he comes here on the weekends. Because when I bought my very first PC, and my son was coming over on the weekends, he basically take over the PC the entire weekend, and I couldn't get back to that PC to play games on it until Sunday night after I took him home. So from there I started building the second PC, then a third, then a fourth. The fourth PC I sold that one. I sold that one a few months ago. That had a 3070 in it. My son has his own PC at home. Then the 4090 PC, naturally, it's got a 4090. Again, 32 gigs of DDR5, and the CPU is an AMD 7800X 3D. So the other two PCs, they're going to do what I need them to do and then some. That's part of the reason why I put so much focus into this PC, is because I try to see just how far I can push it, and then let you guys know that, hey, if you guys want to build a PC with these same specs, this is what you need. This is how much it's going to cost. So this PC that I'm sitting at right here, if you were to build it to the same specs that I have, I just did the eBay thing with second. Nobody's coming to this race, so let's leave. So yeah, if you were to build this PC that I'm sitting at right here with the same specs that I have, with secondhand parts, $863, give or take. Let's check the custom lobbies, because I want to come back and do another GT500 race, because I want to register the second score I need for the championship points. So I don't see any point in doing the GT3 race unless you guys just want to see me do it. Oh, and I get it now. Like, anything that's got a P, Q, or R next to it, that session is already in progress and you can't join. So right here, this GT race right here is the only thing that's available, and there's only one person in there, and I don't feel like driving GT right now. Oh shit, the game just crashed. Booting up right now, so give me a second. I think I got VSync turned on. I'm going to have to double check. I mean, this TV that I'm sitting at right here is 60 hertz. So no point trying to hit 150 frames and shit like that when you ain't going to be able to see it anyway. Oh, VSync is off. Let's turn it on. There we go. All right, let's head back to the multiplayer. Oh, shit. And how long before the next GT500? A half hour. And this MX5 race, 6 laps at Sebring. Damn. Not that many people on the night. Oh, excuse me, folks. Oh, I know what else that was on my mind that I could talk about. That is AC EVO, Assetto Corsa Evo. So they just had an update today. They added a few cars. An old Lamborghini Countach. They added, I think, 2 GT3s. They added the Ferrari 296, the Mustang GT3. They added the Audi R8 GT4. And for track, they added Sebring. Now, I haven't really been keeping up with AC EVO that much because two things have really frustrated me about that game. The VR is dog shit. The VR on AC EVO and Rensport are two of the worst that I've ever experienced. The other problem was I got frustrated that the game does not save my wheelbase settings. So it was like every time I booted up AC EVO, I had to configure my wheelbase. So that was getting frustrating. Now, today I did go in there and check it out. Especially given that I knew some of the creators would be giving their thoughts on the latest update. And I wanted to, see what some of them said about EVO versus what they said about Project Motor Racing. And now I don't have any problems mentioning names, but Jardier, he gave praise to the graphics. He thinks it's the best looking game that he's seen. He gave praise to the audio, but he was pretty hard on him about the physics. He said he didn't like the handling, and he felt like all the cars handled the same regardless of what car it was or what class it was. So he was pretty hard about that. And then there's Kirith. Absolutely glazed the game. I mean, he really didn't find any negatives about it. He praised the audio, praised the handling, praised the graphics. And then when I checked it out, my thoughts on the game so far, I got no opinion about the graphics because I ran the game at 1080p at high settings. So it didn't look any different than any other game that I run at 1080p as far as racing games go. So I've got no comment on the graphics because I didn't push it all the way. The handling, yeah, I was using the Mustang, and the back end of the car was loose, and it was kind of sliding all over the place. But I guess that's just something I would have to get used to. The audio, I don't think the Mustang sounded that good. Sounds like it was done on a machine rather than going out and actually capturing the audio of the car. And then most notably, yeah, I had to go back and I had to I had to configure my wheel again. I had to map out the wheelbase again. And the VR is still dog shit. The VR was running at like 24 frames. So.
At Harry Desi said, Acevo Sebring, you don't get road feel, it should be bumping.
Yeah. But in all fairness, I was doing AC Evo on this Logitech wheel. Now, if I would have been on my other, on my other setup, with the base shakers and the Fanatec wheelbase and all that stuff, I would have felt a lot more details. Because I don't even rely on my, even though I've got a Fanatec Podium DD1 wheelbase, I don't really, it delivers the really fine details, but I don't rely on it for the fine details. I rely on the base shakers to give me the fine details. I could go ahead and let's see. Let's register for this MX5, even though I don't have any points. Is it the whole track? Okay, the weather seems to be good. I think we'll go ahead and do this one. This is a 6-lap race. So maybe when this race is over, I can catch the next GT500 race. So when it starts the next championship, I'm going to enter more classes. Like right now, my focus is on the GT500 and the GT3s because those are the classes where I have points in every round so far. When the next championship starts, I'm going to try to do GT3, GT500 EVO. I'm going to try to do 4 classes. And then like the Group C stuff, I'll wait until it gets VR because I want to drive those cars in VR. I mean, I want to drive in VR anyway, but yeah, the Group C cars, I'll wait until Project Motor Racing gets VR support because I want to be inside those cars because that'll definitely add to the immersion and making me feel like I'm driving something right out the late 1990s. All right, we got 10 people here. That's good enough. Oh, we're on Sebring Johnson Club Circuit. So does that mean we're on the short version? I'm hoping it's the whole track. So EJ is scheduled to go live at 11 o'clock, so I'm going to try to be done before he goes live. Oh yeah, I don't. Hell no, I don't recognize this version, or do I? Oh shit, this is weird. Vehicle vehicle setup. All right, let's see what we got here. What an idiot. No, I've never raced this configuration before, so do not expect anything out of me this race.
You know the drill, mate. Take it easy for the first few laps. Your tyres and brakes are cold.
Oh, we got a YouTuber in here. Damn, I'm 5 seconds off the leader. Holy shit.
Checkered flag out. Session is done.
115.8. Let's see here, 115.8. So about 2.5 seconds off the leader. All right, considering this is my first time on the track, I'll take that. And I'm fourth. Vehicle setup. I think I already got it set up the way I want to. All right, let's get out there.
Ain't no
and make
stopping
it do
this
what it do.
train! Whoa!
Let's go.
Focus on the line.
Somebody's gonna die, bomb. Idiots. What an idiot. Really, dude? Dude, he tried to take me out too. Oh my God. The fastest first sector.
Race directors judge that you've got a
What?
limiting advantage. Use the time back. Slow down now. Slow down now.
I slowed down. It didn't take time off. It's not taking time off.
Track limit penalty. You've been given a track limit penalty. Take it on the chin.
He's got damage. Wow.
Good drive, mate.
Yeah, hurry up and get me out of this one. Where are we at with the GT 500s? I don't know. Ain't looking good. Check out the custom. That one's locked and the other's occupied. I don't want to do that MX5 again because I doesn't matter. I didn't register any points the first two rounds, so thinking, yeah, I'll give the GT500 EVO one more shot, and if nothing turns up, then I think I'll probably go ahead and wrap it up. So what do we got? Hypercars. So yeah, these other ones don't happen as much. And Group C, 12. Am I reading that right? 12 hours? Hypercar 16 hours. Yeah, the GTEs, I would do that too, but I don't have any points registered. 12 points. That ain't, nah. Look at that, 11 people registered. Yeah, I'm going to gut it out and wait for the GT500. It's only 5 minutes. That's a different color. Yeah, I think we'll go with this one this time. And let's see here. I'm going to go grab a quick drink while we're waiting. So I will be right back. Oh shit. This isn't looking good. If we get 30 seconds and I don't see at least 5 people in here, I might as well leave. There's 2. Come on. Come on, give me 3 more. Come on. 2 more. Come on, 1 more. So I want the points. All right, we got 5. We got 6. Come on. 7. All right, we can do this race after all. One of them left. Come on, 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 come on back. Come on back, come on back.
At Shaolin Monk 4206 said, I'm in this, let's go.
All right, let's go, Shaolin Monk. Let's go.
Ain't no stopping this train. Whoa!
All right, let's get ready. Set up. All right, we good. Let's go.
For Racing said, what up, Dill Lincoln waving hand medium skin tone.
Hey, how's it going?
For Racing
Ain't no stopping this
said,
train. Whoa!
What's up, chat?
How you doing? How you doing?
Laps, mate. Tyres are cold. I'll let you know when they're in the window.
At Eric Racing said, Shaolin Monk saluting face waving hand medium skin tone.
He's in the race with us.
5 minutes remaining.
Invalidated the lap. This is it, my last chance. Ah! That's a wrap. I tried to get on the... I got greedy. Got on the gas early. Alright. Where we at? Hey, he's porpoising. Did we lose some people? Oh, DQ. Okay, here's Shaolin. All right.
Unbelievable driving, mate. That's P1. P1.
All right, let's get the win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's get the win. Let's get the win. I think we lost some cars. Oh, shit. So the DQ still stands with those
At
guys?
Shaolin Monk 4206 said, "What up, Eric?" At Shaolin Monk 4206 said, "They all quit on us."
Wow.
Okay, mate. We need to defend pole position. Pressure's on. Keep focused.
rubber band. Every time I close in on them, I screw up. There we go, we got him! Oh, I nearly paid the price for trying to coast to that finish. He nearly hit me. He wasn't trying to. I was just going too slow. Hey, he had the fastest lap too. 130.023 and I had 0.050. So bottom line is, if he would have spun out, he would have won that race. So he gave me a gift.
What a drive. Superb race. You were the best out there today. Congratulations.
I'll take it.
At Shaolinmonk 4206 said, I had a bad start and keep spinning.
Yeah, I saw you had a penalty there somewhere too. All right, let's see how many points that got me. Damn, only 25 points? Yikes. So we'll definitely have to do this again. And try to do it at an hour when there's more people online so I can get more points. But at the moment, I'm currently in 10th. So if I could get another 20 points, that would put me at 249. So no, I don't think I'm going to win it. The number one guy, he's got 12 starts and I've got 7. So, hey, but at least I got some points registered. So yeah, again, at the moment I'm in 10th in the point standings. Oh, and the guy that's number
at
one.
Shaolinmonk 4206 said, and GT at Spa not bad.
I would agree, but I don't have any points for the NGT round, for the NGT races. So yeah, I don't have any points. So what I want to do is the next time I go live, I want to come back and get some more points for the 500 Evo class, that 25 right there. I want to get more points. I want to get that into the 40s. Once I do that, I'll be satisfied with that, and then after that, I'll be open to do, I'm open to do any other race until we get to round 4. Because it's really no point in me. See right there, the GT3s is really not much point in me doing that, because I got 49 and 47. So the 49, I got to win. So, and then this 47, I think I took 4th with that. So the bottom line is, in order for me to bring that 47 up, it's got to be a full lobby and it's got to be top rated drivers, and I got to beat them. So yeah, I'm going to win one of these championships one of these days. Oh, I think before I get ready to get out of here, last thing I wanted to bring up, and it's something I should have brought up at the beginning because I can't remember everything, and that is the situation with Rensport. We're halfway through April.
At Shaolinmonk 4206 said, I see.
Yep. So with Rensport, we were supposed to get the endurance pack this month. And we were supposed to get it last month, but it got delayed until April. And here we are halfway through April, and we haven't heard a peep out of them since they last said that it was going to be delayed till April. And I'm wondering if they, I don't know how many people are playing Red Sport on console, but I know um, before I went live, I checked Red Sport on Steam DB. There was only 9 players online. I mean, this wasn't much better because there was like 40 at the time. But yeah, even though I don't play Red Sport, I still want endurance that endurance DLC because it's I think as far as the hypercars go, they're supposed to get the Peugeot 9X8, a couple of retro cars, and Circuit de la Sarthe. Now, I love that track. That's my favorite track. I think every game should have Circuit de la Sarthe, and I definitely can't wait until this game gets it. So, all right, I think that's going to do it for me. We're working our way towards 11 o'clock. EJR is going to go live, or he's supposed to go live at 11 o'clock. So I think I'm just going to kick up my feet and watch him. And, I'll probably see some of you in the chat. And with that, I want to thank you all. Today's Wednesday. I know I'll be back by the weekend. I just don't know which day.
At Shaolin 4206 said, Endurance Motorsport hasn't come out either.
I'm not interested in Endurance Motorsports like I was before. I mean, because I thought it was going to be a competitor to Le Mans Ultimate, but it looks to me like it sounds like the game is going to have arcadey type physics, and a big chunk of the game is like some managerial shit where you're managing the team and contracts and a bunch of other shit. So I can't say that I don't really have a ton of interest in it. That's not a game that we got so many racing games now that I don't feel the need to have to get that game day one. I'll just I'll wait a few days, and whatever people say about that game, I'll take it at face value, because you've seen what happened to Project Motor Racing, the way they absolutely trashed this game on some tribal shit. So, but yeah, and plus I think that game's also coming to console, and I can tell you right now, based on I wouldn't be surprised if they go through the same growing pains that Project Motor Racing is going through in terms of trying to make this crossplay work. So, all right. So yeah, he'll be live about 25 minutes. And like I said, you guys will probably see me in the chat. So for those of you that's headed over to EJ to check him out, I will see you over there. And we will see you on the next one. Until then, you all know the line. Wakanda forever, long live the king. And here we go. Deuces. Have a good one, everybody.